You know, when you're young, you think life is a very long road with plenty of gas in the tank. I was like that once. I used to believe there would always be a next chance, a next conversation, another tomorrow to fix what I hadn't fixed yet. But living 8, 9 decades does something to your sense of time. You begin to notice how fast days add up, how quickly ordinary moments become the story you tell at the end. If you'll allow me a few minutes, I want to share 10 simple things I wish someone had told me in my 20s. Listen for the small details. Stay with me to the end. I'll tell you one story about a single missed dinner that still sits with me even now. For as long as I remember, I chased things that felt urgent: a promotion, a raise, a title that meant something to other people. It's not that work is bad. Work gave me dignity, purpose, a way to provide. But what surprised me later was how little those trophies actually mattered when I lay awake at night. What matters are people. Not the idea of people, but real faces, the sound of a laugh at the kitchen table, the awkward silence of a family argument that somehow ends in a hug. If you have a decision between one more late shift or one more dinner with someone you love, ask yourself bluntly, will this matter in 10 years? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. Choose the people, show up. The small rituals, Sunday dinners, a call on a random Tuesday, they are the stitches that hold a life together. Another thing I learned, painfully and slowly, is that you don't need drama to change your life. You need habits. Young folks dream of big turns, new city, new job, reinvention by calendar, and yes, sometimes life changes that way, but most of the time the things that shape our late years are small, repeated choices: saving $5 a week, walking 15 minutes after dinner, writing a sentence in a journal before bed. These are tiny, almost insignificant acts until decades pass and you suddenly realize they've built something enormous. If you want to be healthier at 70, start with 10 minutes today. If you want less anxiety about money at 60, start automating a small saving now. The compound effect is real. Small, steady action beats sporadic heroics. There was a phase in my life when I feared silence. I filled every quiet minute with radio or television or company. I thought solitude was for sad people. Then in my 40s, I lost my wife for a tiny season. She was away for a week, and I discovered the value of being alone with my thoughts. Not lonely, not miserable, just alone. In that quiet, I learned how to listen to myself. I discovered what actually mattered to me, beyond the noise of expectations. If you never give your mind space to breathe, you end up living by other people's scripts. Try it. Spend 10 minutes a day without your phone, without music, without podcasts. Walk and notice the sky. Sit and write one honest sentence. It's uncomfortable at first, but it makes your choices clearer. Health is a subject people treat like a future problem until it's a present one. When my knees started to complain, I ignored them. When my hearing began to blur in crowded rooms, I pretended it was fine. Those are the regrets I see in other older people, not the missing car or the house, but the slow loss of simple freedom. You want to dance at 70, move now. You want to keep walking without pain at 80, protect your joints today. Health is not vanity, it is the currency of independence. Small preventive moves, a walk, a yearly checkup, a little less sugar, are the easiest gifts you can give your future self. Let me tell you about things versus experiences. I once had a workshop full of tools I thought I needed to be important. Hammers, saws, boxes of nails, they made me feel useful. But the thing I treasure now is a single summer afternoon on a lake with friends, the smell of pine, the unexpected storm that chased us laughing into a cabin. The story we tell every holiday: objects get used up, lost, or donated. Experiences age like wine, they become memory, and memory becomes character. If you can spend a little of your life budget on a memory, a trip, a class, a meal with someone you haven't seen in years, those investments pay dividends of joy. One of the shortest sentences that holds the most weight is 3 words: I love you. People say they will tell someone later. They keep the compliment, the apology, the I'm proud of you in a pocket labeled someday. I've seen funerals where things left unsaid echo louder than anything spoken. Say it now. Pick up the phone, write the note, lean in for the hug. Those 3 words are not sentimental fluff. They are instructions for living kindly. If you make one small habit today, let it be saying the things that matter out loud. Money is practical, money is sensible. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. A little financial discipline will save you from a great deal of worry later. Learn to save, learn to live within your means, learn to say no to debt that buys status rather than freedom. But I have also watched people make money the center of their universe, a terrible idea. They spend their best years on the pursuit of bigger and better, then reach the other side with a house full of things and a phone full of missed calls from people who mattered. Use money as a tool. Let it buy options, not replace relationships or health. Be intentional with it. Curiosity kept some of my friends young well into their 80s. They read books, took classes, asked questions, learned new tools even when their hands trembled a little. The mind stiffens if you let it. Learning is less about exams and more about staying interested in the world. Ask someone from a different generation about their life. Try a hobby that scares you. Teach what you know to somebody younger. Curiosity is an ongoing act of humility and wonder, and it keeps life light. Forgiveness is underrated. I have seen people carry grudges like heavy coats for decades, wearing them through happy days and sad, letting anger shape their evenings. Forgiveness does not mean you were wronged less. Forgiveness means you refuse to let the injury continue to live inside you. Sometimes forgiveness is spoken across a table. Sometimes it is a quiet decision you make alone. Either way, carrying less bitterness frees you to enjoy the days you have left. Now, here is a practical retention tip I want you to act on while you watch. Pause this video in a moment and type one sentence in the comments about the single best advice you ever received from someone older than you. It helps the algorithm, and it helps us connect. I'll read some comments and we'll include the best ones in the next video. If you're already here, do it now. One sentence, I'll wait. Life does not always follow the maps you draw. I planned a tidy route for my life. Education, job, retirement at a neat date. Life laughed at my plans and offered detours I never expected. An illness that taught me patience. A sudden friendship that became family. A job loss that turned into a new beginning. Some of the most beautiful things were accidental. Leave room for spontaneity. Say yes, sometimes the future needs both your plans and your openness. Before I tell you that story I promised, let me share a few little rituals that kept me steady. We had a Sunday supper, nothing fancy, just simple soup and a table where we took turns telling one small thing that made the week better. Over 30 years, those small stories became our family's moral ledger. Another ritual was a single recipe I learned from my mother. When I cook it now, I find her voice in the steam and remember the way she folded dough with patient hands. Small rituals are anchors. They make ordinary weeks feel like something to come home to. Now the story I promised. Many years ago, I was offered a last-minute trip that conflicted with my daughter's birthday. I rationalized the trip. Work mattered. It was important. I could make it up later. I took the trip on the return. A message awaited that my mother had been taken ill, and I missed 3 days at her bedside because of a delay in flights. I still remember the hollow feeling of regret that followed, the way time suddenly felt like water slipping through my fingers. That missed birthday, that delayed goodbye sits with me like a small stone in my shoe. It taught me more sharply than any lecture that time is not guaranteed. Let it be the reason you pick the dinner over the meeting, the visit over the extra shift. Learn from my small, painful mistake. If you want to act today, here are simple things to do. Call someone you love and say something honest to them. Start one tiny habit that improves your future. 5 minutes of movement, a 2-minute journal entry, a weekly message to someone who matters. Automate a small saving. Even a few dollars a week adds up. Schedule a shared meal this month. Take 10 minutes and write one voice note about your childhood. That voice note will be a treasure to someone in 10 years. I know advice can sound preachy, so I'll end with what I would want someone to tell me now. Be gentle with yourself. You will make mistakes. You will miss chances. Forgive yourself. Learn and move forward and keep noticing. The small acts of kindness you give and receive are the true currency of a life well spent. If anything I said lands with you, do those 3 small things like this video, leave your 1 sentence comment with the best piece of advice you've ever received, and subscribe if you want more voices like this. I will read those comments, I will carry them into future conversations. We are better when we share what we learn. Remember this as you go about your day. Time is the most precious thing you own. Spend it on people, on small habits, and on curiosity. Spend it on forgiveness and on little rituals that make a house a home. Spend it so that when you look back, you feel proud of the story you lived. Thank you for listening. I will see you again, and until then, take care of yourself and the people you love.